the V7. Lucky Ducky inherits an 850 engine where it was a 750 the year before. Hello, Dylan here from Throttle Company Vintage Motorcycles. I love doing that. Anyway, here, Columbus, Ohio. We just picked up Moto Guzzi. Well, I don't know how to exactly explain it. These deals take a while, but we're currently the second Moto Guzzi dealer in the state of Ohio. There's one high cadre down in Cincinnati. Enzo's a great guy if you're happy to be near there. A cool little community I'm noticing from the Moto Guzzi, the Guzzistas, and we're happy to be a part of it. We do the Royal Enfields, we do vintage motorcycles. There's a bunch of Royal Enfields over there. There's a vintage Triumph. Perfect. That's a 2010, but it doesn't look it. It looks older than that. Anyway, and I've done a video, just got off that one. Guardia di Nori, there you can see a V85. Zach, one of our other mechanics, doing the test ride on that. But right now I'm going to do the V7 Special. So if you follow along and you know the Throttle Company thing, we do In the Loop, and it's where I take you around on a test ride. I've already done In the Loop on the Stone. This is the Special. I like to call it the Classic because it's more classic looking. So it has spoke wheels. The specs are the same. In fact, the engine is actually mostly the same between these two bikes. 850 cc's. You got about 65 horsepower on this one. The 850, as opposed to the year before, it was 750. Much less power, and it really suits the bike great. So a little bit of chrome accents you're noticing. The mirrors are normally chrome. These are not the stock mirrors. These are an add-on bar end mirror. They're awesome. The stock mirrors are great. These are better. They're fantastic. This is a customer's bike, by the way. I didn't mention that. They've only been around 2 years, but he's a long-time customer of ours. I like to joke that he likes all the weird bikes. So he's Royal Enfield and now Moto Guzzi. And we just got done doing this service, which is a breeze. These are a breeze to work on, a dream. You just take off this valve cover, valves right there, change all the fluids. I don't know if there's people in the comments who are real Moto Guzzi fans, but I'm finding that the final drive, it's got a drive shaft into that final gear. They say you don't have to change the fluid, but I'm changing it because it looks gross. It looks black and murky, and after the first 900 miles, I don't know why you try to run that fluid the way that it is. So I put new fluid in there. We got new gear oil in the rear end, new gear oil in the transmission, new oil in the engine. We're going to take it out, make sure it's good before we give it back to them. So it's been doing its initial service. Anyway, brown seat, beautiful. Actually, I think it's leather, but I don't want to say the wrong thing. So it's beautiful. Italians, of course, know their upholstery. The fit and finish is awesome. We got the chrome exhaust, chrome grab rail. There actually is no grab rail on the Stone. And you got the blacked out engine, just very classic looking. This is very similar to like V7 Sport, which came out in the late 60s, early 70s. So it's a throwback to that, which is why we took them on. We're vintage motorcycles. That's why we have Royal Enfield. So I have a Moto Guzzi. We think they're a perfect fit. This motorcycle is just over 10 or just under 10,000. And so they told me they think they position themselves between Royal Enfield and Triumph, sort of cost-wise. And I think they nailed it. The fit and finish-wise and stuff is a huge step up. You notice I mentioned this in my last video, but they mark all the bolt heads for torque and stuff. They clearly just pay a little bit more attention than you expect, especially at this price point. Okay, so we got the horizontal mounted V-twin, 90-degree V-twin. When I turn this on, it will shake to the side. It's very cool, tons of character. If you have a Moto Guzzi, you know and love it. It's fantastic. So I'm just going through and doing a test. I'll try to give you the idea. That's what the whole point of these videos is, what it's like to ride this motorcycle. It feels like a perfect vintage motorcycle. So one of the main differences when you're sitting here is that you have these two gauges. Oh, here we go, front chopper, bro. 2 gauges, sort of more your traditional sense. But if you notice, actually you can't see it right now because I have the clutch in, but we have a gear indicator here, and we had a whole bunch of extra stuff we can cycle through. We have traction control modes. Let's go see what we were on. MGC2. So here I'll show you a little trick on how to switch it. That's off entirely. And if you just hit this button here, sometimes you hold it down for a second. We'll go back to 2. There we go, 1. Okay, 1 is the normal one. 2 is too aggressive. 2 is like rain mode. And 1, regular. 0 is just off. You can turn it off. So these bikes have ABS, fuel injection, traction control. But they feel vintage. I've been riding a V85, so this feels a little bit more leaned over, a little bit more nimble and light. But like I had started saying, I tend to interrupt myself a lot. Sorry if that's annoying. But this feels like a perfect vintage motorcycle, like brand new. Someone kept it in a barn the whole time. Or we'll get a good look at that guy's chopper. It's an Evo Sportster. It looked like, or maybe a big twin cam. So anyway, a Harley Davidson. We're bros because we both have V-twins. I think he thinks the same. So anyway, gorgeous fit and finish on these. They come in blue, and they come in this gray. 2 colors this year. And then the stones have 4 colors: black, orange, yellow, silver. They're all beautiful. Those are more matte finishes, and you can check out my video on the stone. But I'm trying to give you the idea of what's different here. This one does feel more classic, more vintage. Of course, it looks a little bit more classic with the chrome and the wire wheels. Wire wheels are big, and of course that makes them have tubes. So not every time, but pretty much, unless they're clever with the engineering, wire wheels won't hold air and therefore need a tube to hold the air in your tires. So these are tube tires. The Stone has tubeless tires, or it could be using tubeless tires. It's a little complicated way of phrasing it, but basically you could run tubeless if your tires can do it as well. Little things, well, I was talking about the little things that Moto Guzzi does. You get this member of the community, Moto Guzzi Owners Club, when you buy one. This is a test ride, so we're trying to feel if anything feels weird. I've already ridden this one. Like I said, this is a customer's bike, and nothing felt weird, but I did just do the service, so we just want to make sure everything went well after that. Ride it at like 5 miles around the loop. This is exactly what I would do, even if you weren't with me on camera. So I just thought I might as well turn on the camera, talk a bunch. It won't distract me from doing a good job because we'll talk through everything and that'll remind me to do everything. So we already pushed the buttons. We already checked the modes. I lubricated his clutch extra, I remember, so we've already checked that. We could bump the horn. We've already used the turn signals at least one direction. The lights are on the right setting. You have different settings on this one. You only have high beam and regular. You have 3 settings on the other bikes. So they're more classic, just more classic looking. I think they did a great job with the styling. That's kind of why you buy a Moto Guzzi, is that you at least appreciate the heritage of the brand. Your turn signals are here and there, they hold push to cancel kind of thing, exactly as bikes from the 70s have always been. Moto Guzzi was one of the first brands to focus on reliability and to eliminate, not one of the first ones, but that's been a thing all along, basically, to eliminate the Kickstarter. So you think, oh, a vintage bike would have had a Kickstarter, but not really, not Moto Guzzis. They like to just make their starter work really well and not worry about it. So this is, it's got the vintage look to it. These are very well balanced motorcycles. It's kind of interesting to make this video and then be like, you gotta ride it yourself to fully appreciate it, and that's, I guess that's true about everything, but these in particular Moto Guzzis are so unusual, so unique, so hard to explain that you really should ride these on your own. These are awesome motorcycles. When we first unpacked the blue one especially, everybody seemed to like the blue one. And this guy actually told me he went to buy, he didn't buy this from us because we're too new, but he went to buy the blue one, and then this gray one just spoke to him, and he had a gray motorcycle before, and just felt like it was the one. But when we unpacked the blue one, everyone at the shop was like, this is the one, we all got to buy it. And I was like, okay, we're all gonna have the same motorcycle now. You get a little gear shift that pops up about 4,500. We've done the first service. We can hit the higher RPMs. I'm gonna avoid this water. If you're watching, don't worry, I'm not getting wet, but I am breaking the law. Okay, 5th gear, 6 speeds. So this borrows its engine or inherits its engine, however you want to think about it. Moto Guzzi's got a fun thing going on this year, last couple of years here. Euro emissions have really bumped up. There's restrictions, so we call these the Euro 5 or the E5 model. And oh, that was the shadow. I was trying to avoid some water. And the only engine that survived those stricter restrictions was the V85's 850, so the V7. Lucky Ducky inherits an 850 engine where it was a 750 the year before. So big upgrade, a come up as the kids say, for the V7. Rider bros, I told you he thought we were the same with the V-twins. I'm gonna avoid this water. I'm gonna tiptoe my way across and avoid this over here. Not a drop. Anyway, what's it like to ride this? I guess that's my best way of summarizing it. It is a perfectly set up, like, balance. Awesome. These bar and mirrors, I hope this pops on video. I think if I sit back exactly like this, I can see them both at the same time. But I could see a ton behind me. I could see directly behind me. So the best thing about a bar and mirror is that the vision kind of, I don't know how you would explain that, but overlaps. And so I can actually see, like a car, I can see exactly behind me, and then this one covers the same thing, so it just helps your quick reference, like mental picture of what's going on back there. And so I highly recommend some kind of bar end mirrors. Some of them are a little cheap and don't give you the full picture, but I prefer bar end mirrors, and plus it cleans up this whole space here. Just feels like I'm on a dirt bike flying around in the woods or whatever, and it's awesome. Or a race bike or something. I think that you need to, if you're anywhere near us, come down. We do test rides. We have the V7 Stone that I rode earlier as our test ride bike, and then the new V85 is the test ride bike. And we're getting a V9. V9 inherited the same engine, so the V9 went to an 850. A little bit more power though. And I haven't even ridden one. So they're kind of the secret motorcycle in the Moto Guzzi world. So I guess now's a good time to mention this. I think the weirdest thing about Moto Guzzi, and we're trying to change that, and we're trying to work with the guys at Moto Guzzi. They're young, they're enthusiastic, and they're trying to change this exact thing. But Freddie Dobbs, if you've ever seen him, he did a perfect video on trying to address this issue that I'm hinting at. Freddie Dobbs, check him out. He drives a Triumph Bonneville. He loves Royal Enfields. That's how I got to know him. But he rode a Moto Guzzi, and he said, how do people not know about this bike? What's going on? And that's what I think is the biggest problem Moto Guzzi is. Maybe it's the dealer network. I'm hearing a lot about that kind of grumblings on Facebook now that I'm paying more and more attention. But how is this not a more popular motorcycle? This motorcycle is amazing. If you're in the market for a modern classic, so Royal Enfields, of course, Triumphs, every brand. Well, Honda had that CB1100. Not exactly, I don't think they make that anymore, but Kawasaki, Ducati Scrambler, vintage looking. Kawasaki has the Z900 RS. Modern classic bikes. If you're in the market at all, you gotta look at one of these. They feel so cool. They look amazing. They have gigantic gas tanks. 850 cc's is more than enough power for whatever you want to do. I didn't get this particular motorcycle up to 100, but 100 miles an hour is easy peasy on a new motorcycle like this, on these modern classics. But if you are into the look of vintage, and that's what you're shopping around for, these bikes, and come down and check it out. I love doing test rides. Oh, I guess I should park over here because it's a customer's bike. But look into the heritage of Moto Guzzi. Very cool bikes. They got a lot of history going on, and I love them. I'm a huge fan right out of the gate. I'm just so happy and excited that we took on this brand. And I don't know what to tell you about the dealer network. It's basically, if you got one nearby, you're in luck. If it's a little bit further away, hopefully you don't mind driving there for service and or being just Mr. Independent or Mrs. Independent. Also, speaking of Mrs., there's a girl named Kate Marr. I think that's how she would pronounce her last name, M-A-H-E-R, I think. And she's out in California. She's big into motorcycles. She has one of these. She has the earlier generation. Kate made that. I'll try to put her Instagram thing up here if I can remember. She's, whether she knows it or not, I don't know if she'll probably never see this, but she is doing great things for Moto Guzzi and the rider impression of this kind of motorcycle among female riders. I think sometimes they think I gotta be a Harley rider or I gotta be a sport bike girl, and she's doing some great things for this too. I know Nicole really likes this motorcycle. She's doing great things so far. We had 2 people this week buy Himalayans because of Nicole's videos and Nicole riding a Himalayan. She owns a Himalayan now, and it's like women just need someone out there to be like, oh yeah, you could do it, and oh yeah, I guess I could. So I really appreciate those people out there doing that, but that's part of the whole conversation about why these Moto Guzzis aren't as well known, or why you never hear much about them. And we're trying to change that, obviously, but that's just the biggest hurdle right now, is getting people to out there and sit on one and feel this heartbeat under you. That's these 2 lungs or whatever it is. It's hard to explain, but it's just a thump 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 to the side. It's addictive, and once you ride one, I think you'll understand, is what I'm trying to say. So get out there, get here, please. I would love to ride this. If you come by and you wanted to ride one, just come out and say it, because sometimes I think people are a little too polite, and I say, oh, you should ride one. They say, oh, maybe one day. The weather's nice, you got your helmet, you got your license. That's all you need to ride. Take a test ride. So get out there and do it. Rambling here at the end. We do In the Loop. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.